Fact, war is contrary to everything the gospel teaches, plain and simple, but it's also a reality, in this life and in the spirit world. Fact, following the great council in heaven wherein Satan was rejected and Jesus chosen as the Savior, war broke out. The Bible and the Book of Mormon talk about one war after another. It's an ugly reality, and some people, righteous people, are caught in the middle of it. Fact, do you think Captain Moroni or even Mormon wanted to go to war? I highly doubt it, but I'm also quite sure that they were pretty good at their jobs, and you don't get put in charge of an entire army, righteous or otherwise, unless you're pretty good at knowing how to fight and can be successful in war. And when war comes upon you, particularly when instigated by people who hate you, it's kill or be killed, pure and simple. Fact. Though the papers may not have been officially signed declaring us to be at war, for all intents and purposes, we're at war, and I highly doubt it's gonna stop. Fact, and thanks to the Bible and especially the Book of Mormon, we, as Latter-day Saints, know a thing or two about war. Fact, the anti-Nephi Lehis were blessed for laying down their weapons of war, but their own children were blessed by taking up their weapons of war. That's quite the enigmatic situation. How could God bless their kids for doing the very thing their parents covenanted to never do again? I'll tell you how. They saw the plight their families were put in as the result of Lamanite aggressions against their people and the Nephites. They went to war out of necessity, not out of wanting to kill anyone. Fact. Captain Moroni and Mormon were both commanding general of the Nephite armies. They were at the top military and political positions. I guarantee you that, largely as a result of their enemies' actions and their positions as leaders, they made offensive, planned, and coordinated attacks in enemy territory, on enemy land, and on enemy soil. But, and here's the kicker, they did so only out of necessity, not out of a desire to kill other people. Fact. You know, there's a difference between a coordinated attack that's just for gaining power and taking out those you see as enemies, versus a coordinated attack on your actual enemies. Those who honestly intend to kill and destroy you if you don't strike first. Basic military and war tactics throughout all of recorded history, both inside and outside of the United States, will totally attest to this. Fact. So, Teencum, on 2 separate stealth missions, in the middle of the night, actually went into the camps and tents of both Amalekia and later on, his brother Amaron, and killed them in cold blood. Now why did he do that? Well, it's because Amalekia was the cause of a major years-long war between the Lamanites and the Nephites, and that conflict was just continued by his brother. He killed them to end the war, not to keep it going. Fact. In a stealth mission, in the middle of the night, after a 10-year-long fight in the War on Terror, the United States government actually sanctioned a kill mission to go into enemy territory, to the house of Osama bin Laden, and kill him in cold blood. Now, why did they do this? Because his intentional actions brought death and war to the American people. His death was meant to end war, not to continue it. Fact. You know, America tried for over a year to turn the other cheek during World War II. We did what we could to help our allies, sending them aid in the form of food and supplies, but we stayed out of the fight until that unprovoked attack on Pearl Harbor. 4 years later, we ended the fight by dropping atomic bombs on Japanese soil, killing upwards of 200,000 innocent people. We did that to end the war, not to continue war. Do you think that maybe our current president is trying to do the same thing today? Fact. The government of Iran is run by those who follow Twelver Shia Islam, which is actually the largest branch of Muslims worldwide. It's the official state religion. The official policy and frequent rhetoric of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the most prominent Twelver Shia state, openly calls for the destruction or elimination of the State of Israel. Fact. This is political in nature, and it's deeply rooted in their religion. They literally believe that their final prophet can't come forth unto the world until the last drop of Israel blood has been destroyed. That being said, it's clear to see that this war, instigated by Islamic Iranians, is more biblical, or at least Quranic, than anything else. Fact. Want proof that it's biblical? Well, consider this. Daniel chapter 12 verse 11 states, "And from the time that the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days." Or in other words, there will be exactly 1,290 days from the time that the daily sacrifice will be taken away and the beginning of the abomination of desolation. Fact. On March 25, 2020, President Nelson closed all temples worldwide, due to the outbreak of the coronavirus essentially ending the daily sacrifice. And what happened exactly 1,290 days later? Hamas attacked Israel in all-out genocide on October 6, 2023, effectively marking the beginning of the abomination that maketh desolate. Fact. While trying to negotiate a peace treaty at best, and an exchange of prisoners at worst, Captain Moroni tells Ammaron, who stubbornly decided to continue the war his brothers started against the Nephites, "Except you withdraw your purposes, behold, you will pull down the wrath of that God whom you have rejected upon you, even to your utter destruction. But as the Lord liveth, our armies shall come upon you except ye withdraw, and ye shall soon be visited with death. For we will retain our cities and our lands, yea, and we will maintain our religion and the cause of our God. And if you do not this, I will come down against you with my armies, yea, even I will arm my women and my children, and I will come against you, and I will follow you even into your own land, which is the land of our first inheritance, yea, and it shall be blood for blood, life for life. And I will give you battle even until you are destroyed from off the face of the earth. If ye seek to destroy us more, we will seek to destroy you." Alma 54, 9-13. Fact. You know, Israel is just plain tired of defending herself. She's honestly reached the same point that Captain Moroni did. After years of these non-provoked attacks by the Lamanites, it's kind of come down to life for life, and blood for blood. If you won't leave us alone and stop trying to murder us, then, out of necessity, we'll do the same to you. So, Trump could either keep us out of a war that's not really ours, or he could help Israel attack an enemy that just won't stop until they're all dead. Fact. Following Trump's decision to formally recognize Israel as a nation by moving the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem on May 14, 2018, exactly 70 years to the day when modern Israel became a nation, 3 separate Jewish organizations, the nascent Sanhedrin, the Mikdash Educational Center, and the Temple in Zion, honored Trump by putting his image on a modern-day temple coin. The only other non-Jewish individual to ever get such an honor was King Cyrus, after he released the Jews 70 years after captivity. Fact. Part of biblical end times is the Jews rebuilding the Third Temple, on, or at least very close to, the present-day Islamic Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. The Dome of the Rock is actually the second holiest site in all of Islam, excepting only the Kaaba in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. Something really big would have to happen before the Jews could build the Third Temple, because there's just no way the Muslims are going to allow that, under normal circumstances. So, do the math here. How do we go from Jewish and Muslim occupation of Jerusalem to, probably, the removal of all Muslim influence or political power, so that the Jews can build the temple? How do we get from here to there unless a political power forces their removal so the Jews could rebuild the temple? Or, something kind of like that. Fact. Love Trump or hate him, he's in the middle of a whole bunch of worldwide politics trying to prevent wars, not create them. China's been bullying Taiwan for years, threatening to destroy them in order to occupy Taiwanese lands, and Trump is trying to stop that. North Korea has been threatening the US with war for years, and during his first term he was actually the first US president to meet with Kim Jong-un, trying to make peace with their country. Russia invaded and started attacking Ukraine over 3 years ago, and Trump's been trying to end that war for a while now. When Iran began killing the Jews of Israel, Trump's been trying to do what Biden wouldn't stop the genocide, and at this point in time by any means necessary. Trump is a firecracker for sure, but just look at everything going on outside of the US and the media's daily attacks upon his actions. There's so much more happening than just one's love or hate of Trump. We're literally in the end days, folks. It's time we start acting like it. It was the prophet of God who closed the temples worldwide, and 3.5 years later it was Iranian terrorists who attacked Israel. Trump had nothing to do with either party. but he's a major player in the middle of a lot of volatile politics, trying to calm things down, much of which is clearly biblical in nature. Whereas Biden talked a lot and didn't really do anything as far as world politics are concerned, Trump isn't afraid to get in the ring and throw a punch. As sign watchers, we should be observing these events as they play out, religiously, not necessarily politically. Because in the end, there's really only one king that matters, the one whose return we are anxiously awaiting.